Please be seated. I know that your parish family is praying for you, and I saw a lot of response from Facebook yesterday. So many people are praying for you, and I'm so proud of you, very proud of you, especially all these ones present at this Mass. They also serve in different capacities. Very proud of you. Also, this morning, for the first time, Dennis also did the first reading. Dennis, can you stand? Stand. Congratulations. An altar server, and then his is also reading. We have a few of them back there, our children as ushers, and do different things here. I'm very proud of you, and thank you to your parents and to all those who help you. In a very special way, I want to thank the teachers at Montini and also Barney. They prepared our children for the sacrament, and all our catechists. Thank you very much. Thank you to the parents. Thank you to Lisa Johnson, and thank you to Deacon Dennis and all who have helped. And you, the parents, very, very happy for what you do. Also, finally, I want to congratulate the children from Cub Scout and Boy Scout. Can they please stand? Cub Scout and Boy Scout? Yeah. Congratulations. Congratulations. The blue uniform are those in the Cub Scout. The senior boys are graduating to Boy Scout, and we are very happy and congratulate all of you. And also to Mitch for helping them out, and Vince, we are very happy for what you do to help our children. Now, brothers and sisters, as we come to Mass today, I remember what the bishop said yesterday. He said, we have this weather. He blamed it on me, and I will take the blame, all right? So it's like I said earlier, like a Nigerian winter. So enjoy it. I understand it may not last for too long, but we love it while it lasts. But as we come to Mass today, the readings present two things before us. Please take note of these two things. The world's approach and God's approach. We are asked to make a choice that are very different. Maybe you have heard so many people say, he's a good man, he's a good woman. That's not in the dictionary of God. We've got to be holy. I like it from the first reading. You must be holy as your heavenly Father is holy. Now, as though that was not enough, the gospel reading put it in the same term, but it goes further. You have to be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. I have mentioned it many times that heaven is not for good men, it's not for good women, it's for people who are holy. And I don't know who is so holy like God or think he can make it on his own like God. There's no one. If you want to be a medical doctor or a teacher or anything, you go to school, you train for it. Every time we come to Mass, every time we gather here, God uses every single opportunity, the ones we agree with and the ones we disagree. He uses it to prune our heart so we can be holy like God. That holiness is not about what human beings can do. It's about what God is doing in us, but we have to allow him to do it. I think about it this way. A little baby who is trying to walk sees the parents run around in the house. They just wonder, am I ever going to be able to walk like that? They possibly think it is impossible. Guess what? Each time the parents beckons on them and they take baby steps, one step, they stumble and fall. What do? We catch them. If they fall 10 times a day, we're ready to catch them 11 times and put them on our shoulders and pat them and give them comfort so they can try again. The same thing is applicable to holiness. How am I ever going to be like God? How are you going to be a good husband, a good wife, a good priest, a good parishioner like God? Baby steps. Baby steps. Not in the direction of the world. Not in the direction of the world. In the direction of what God has called us to do. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Even when we stumble, but we have tried sincerely to make baby steps to be like him, then at the confessional, he picks us up and gives us a second chance to try it again. And if God were to come back and saw me or you make one more baby steps, you know what it's called? Heaven. If I make one more baby step, it's called heaven. And I pray that the time he comes back, he can see me try a little baby step to do his will. I pray that the same thing may be applicable for you. In history, there are some people who have tried these baby steps. Some of them Christians, some Catholics, some even non-Catholics. There's one that I know, the Indian famous freedom fighter, Mohandas Gandhi. After he studied in India, he went to England and studied law and became an attorney. Then he had an invitation to go to South Africa to be an advocate for a small Indian community there in South Africa. Gandhi was instrumental in helping the Indian people achieve their respect and rightful place in the society. But unlike other emancipators, he used different tools: nonviolence, respect and love, a system of nonviolent protest, which he called truth force, or force of the truth. After the British massacre of 1919, where 350 people were killed in Amritsar, he used the same non-violence protest, substituting words for bullets, respect for insult, love for hate. With these, he led the people to freedom, even though at the end he had to give his life. Somebody shot and killed him. He did not shoot back, even in self-defense, to kill that person. Not only in India, here in the United States, we had a similar example. Martin Luther King Jr., remember him in the history? Non-violence. Don't use violence. Violence is the tactics of the world. Violence for people in the womb, violence for people when they grow old, when they are young, it cannot be justified in Christian principles. We can't justify violence. Now, sometimes people say, Father, what about when it is time for war? Well, before a war can be justified, there are two types: just war and unjust war. Before a war can be justified, there are 5 set of categories, read from the catechism, that have to be fulfilled. One of them is that every other effort at peace must have been exhausted. You know that? What about someone pursuing me and want to kill me? Well, there is something in the Catholic principle that is called principle of double effect. If on the course of defending yourself, the person dies, that's a different thing. But if intentionally we kill someone, it's not justified. That's why we have law enforcement officers, so they can do the job if we cannot do them. The life of Gandhi and the life of Martin Luther King Jr. and many other people in history illustrate the challenges and the demands of the gospel message today. It is the need to find alternate method to achieve peace and settle arguments and differences in our families and in our world. There are different ways of settling scores, but only one involves God: peace, not violence. In the book of Leviticus, the one we listened to in the first reading today, a mistaken interpretation of God's law came to be the order that promotes violence. They call it an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Leviticus, however, came back with a new law, the one we heard today: bear no hatred, no revenge, and hold no grudge. Love your neighbors as you love yourself. We can't hate. We can't hate anyone. We cannot use violence. Not in the family, not in the country, not in the world. The disciples of Jesus, like all of us, may have been trained to believe in revenge. That's sometimes what the world teaches. Well, it is, you are right, he did it, therefore you just paid him back. Justice of the world is not the justice of God. And we've got to make a choice to go with the world or to go with God. Jesus offers an alternative means: love of enemies. Love of enemies. No other religion does that except Jesus, that you actually love and pray for your enemies. And I tell you, brothers and sisters, people who help us to grow on holiness are not people who rub our back all the time. There are those who have made it tough and difficult for us. Sometimes when you have a tough husband, a tough wife, tough children, tough priests, tough parishioners, thank God for them. They help you to try to be like God through peace, through forgiveness, through giving them a second chance. God does the same for us. Love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. Imitate God in his perfection. Be perfect just as your heavenly Father is perfect. Now, that is not to say, well, I pack lunch every day for the children. I made a mistake. I forgot this thing. I forgot the other one. That is perfection in the eyes of the world. Perfection in the eyes of God is this: can we use and offer alternative approach to the world problems and to the problems in our families and not use violence like the world? That is the question. We must find alternative approach that can arrive at the same result which human endeavors all point, and that is a better relationship with God. Holiness, not goodness. Perfection, not being nice. If we desire a peaceful family, a peaceful state, a peaceful country, we must begin with ourselves to be peaceful with that family, peaceful with that husband, that wife, that parishioner, that priest. We must be peaceful with everyone, even though they may go the wrong way. What is our approach, we must ask ourselves, to conflict in every situation, especially when people wrong us? Unlike the world that is centered on revenge and violence, we must seek a counter-cultural solution to find peace and forgiveness. When we feel that we cannot change the status quo or that we have to do what others are doing, St. Paul reminds us today in the second reading that the wisdom of this world, the knowledge and the laws of the world are foolishness and absurdity with God. Respect, love, forgiveness, not revenge, are God's given tool for us to use and resolve conflict. Gandhi is a good example. So is Martin Luther King Jr. and many other saints in life. But above all, so is Jesus, who on the cross saw the man who struck him and gave him that final deadly blow. With tears in his eyes, he looked up to the Father and said, "Forgive this man. He doesn't know what he is doing." This softens my heart. I hope it can soften your heart too, to know that there is a difference between the ways of God and the ways of the world. Let us imitate Jesus, our leader and guide, and use God's tools of peace, not the world's, which is violence. God is peace. So must we. No wonder he says to each one of us, be holy, be perfect. Your heavenly Father is holy. He is perfect.